Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Got an away game today. I'm in Nashville for the race, my buddy Neeler's place. Yeah, I only have one screen. Kind of a problem, but we're going to get through this. I'd rather get this done now than do it at the track, which I've done before, but this is way easier. So let's get into it here. Got a Modelo here. Been in Nashville since Tuesday. I think this is my 700th beer. So, hey, Collective Clink. Happy race day. Taking a pull. All right. Let's start the rundown. Connor, what's going on, man? Start the rundown here in Nashville. Man, this is, I guess, before we get going, man, it is haves and have-nots. We've got, I think, 5 guys that are way better than the rest of the field. But practice during the day, race at night. Who knows? We're going to get through this, though. We're going to get through this here. Ooh, hit dinger yesterday. Nice. Reddick 18-1. Let's get a bag. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's start with Ross Chastain. Ross is a rocket in practice. I mean, it's the thing with Ross is, like, we haven't seen much out of him in the last few weeks. Ever since Mr. H cut off those wings, I have not seen much out of Ross Chastain. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one car. I think he's going to be great. I think it'd be really, really tough to pass. It'd be tough to pass all day. So I think the track position, that first pit stall, is going to mean a lot. Unfortunately, his price is just so low. I mean, tough to bet a guy like that at, like, the plus 450, 5-1 range. I don't know. I mean, I like Chastain. Obviously, he's going to be really fast. I just don't know. I just don't know where he's at, like, mentally. Is he going to be able to make it work? Like, is he going to be able to drive aggressively? You have to drive aggressively here to make passes. And I think he'll be really good in clean air. It'll be interesting to see what happens if he gets shuffled back in traffic. If he's able to work his way back up through the field, I really like Chastain today, but still such a short price relative to what we're used to seeing with him. Tyler Reddick, man, I think Reddick's really good as well. I think both 23XI cars are fast, the 45 and the 23. If you look at, kind of the top 5 guys in practice, it was Reddick, Truex, Chastain, Bubba, and Byron, and no one else was close, in my opinion. So he's kind of in that group. I guess from a betting standpoint, I do think this is kind of a good outright price. I think he's kind of sitting 8.5-1. I don't hate that, but then again, does he make it? Like, if something happens and he struggles or he loses some spots on a restart, are you going to be able to pass? Is he able to work his way back up to the field? He's just not a guy that I've seen do that week in and week out. You look at last week, even at Sonoma, I mean, it looked like he was kind of the guy to beat heading into practice into the race, I guess. And he struggled and barely finished in the top 10. So, I just think that, Brian, I agree. I agree that Byron and Reddick are the 2 best bets. I think that I would agree with both of those. Can Willie B gain spots in traffic? I think so. I just don't think he'll lose spots, so he'll just kind of be around. Typical Willie B style, like, just be there. Justin Haley, I mean, what a great performance out of him. I mean, I don't expect much. I mean, I'm not taking him in matchups. I'm sure if he's in a matchup, he's probably juiced, to high hell. So we're just going to kind of skip over him. Joey Logano, what a great qualifying effort out of him. I do not expect him to be that good today. But here's the thing. He just figures out a good finish. I just think he just figures out a way that whatever Joey Logano does, he just figures it out, and he'll get a good finish. He's a really hard guy to fade. Practice times were not as good as a lot of the guys he's matched up against. It's just hard to take guys against him that are deep in the field, just because Joey's so good at hanging out up there. That's where I'm at right now with Logano. William Byron, I think that this is the best outright price. He's 7-1. I think that, if you're going to take a guy to win, I think you take Byron. I think that, I think Byron's going to be really fast. Here's the problem. Like last year, we had a day race that turned into a night race. You had the Toyotas dominate during the day, and then at night, all of a sudden, the Hendricks came alive. Like, it was the 9 was all of a sudden super fast, and so was the 5. 2 cars that couldn't make passes all day, all of a sudden were able to work their way up to the field. If that's the case, if a night race just kind of hits the Hendrick setup, or they know something, or they have just, they're like one adjustment ahead, I think that William Byron is going to be the fastest Hendrick, and I don't even think it's going to be close. I think he's much faster than Larson, but we'll have to see if they can stay ahead of the track. I like Willie B tonight because He's got speed week in and week out. He especially has speed this weekend. And one thing he's able to do is just maintain his track position. So I don't know if he'll be able to drive through the field, but I'm not worried about him as much on driving back to the field just because he does such a good job of staying up front. He kind of did what Chase Elliott did last year, which is super opportunistic. And just like when he won Darlington, maybe the 4th or 5th place car, but was there at the end. So it's really important. Truex is probably the fastest car. I don't even think it's close. Like, he was so fast. How about Blaney once night hits, similar to Coke 600? Yeah, no, but at Chase, so I don't think Blaney, remember they didn't practice. So Blaney practiced and he was not that fast. I'll get to Blaney in a second, but also they didn't race at night. I don't think that the Coke 600 ended under the lights. So, yeah, we'll get to him in a second though. Chase, Brian, are you saying that top Chevy Byron's plus 350? Who's the favorite top Chevy? Is it Larson? Oof. I don't think Larson's gonna be very good. Speaking of, what a great segue. I'm not heavy on Larson today. I think that he's overpriced. We'll see what happens when night hits, because that's where he was great, or not great. He was better last year, and then 2 years ago he dominated this whole field. So, but he's been off a little bit. Off since Charlotte, wasn't as good at Sonoma, and it kind of showed in practice at Sonoma. Like, I remember saying on the previous poll that I did not think he was going to be as fast. I just don't see it. I know that Derek and I heavily disagree on this. I love Martin Truex Jr. minus 130 over Kyle Larson. It's great that Derek doesn't have. What do you mean, Chase? I was at the Coke 600 and it was daytime. I was at the Coke 600. Went during the day. I don't think it even finished at night. It might have gotten maybe a little dark. But anyway, I love myself some Martin Truex Jr. for Kyle Larson. Personal bet. No worries, Chase. Sometimes I get drunk at these races, so I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, wait, I was at this race and it was during the day. It was the Xfinity race that finished at night. Anyway, let's keep moving here. I'm not a bit. I want to fade Larson across the board, but I know if I do that, you know what happens? He wins, right? So, I just think he's struggling right now. And it looked like if he's going to go out and dominate a race, it's going to be a place like Sonoma where he's been so good, and he just did not have it in him at Sonoma. I don't think he has it today, but again, day practice, night race, the track temperature is going to be way different. 3 hours after they drop the green flag. So I don't like Larson. Denny Hamlin, I feel like he's overvalued in every matchup. I don't know. I mean, he fell off a lot in practice. I just don't know why he's favored. Is it last year because the Toyotas were so fast? Or maybe because Truex is so fast? Or or because he was fast at Sonoma? Oh, yeah, I know you can get Byron over Larson. Oh, I know. I like that one too. I don't know. Hamlin's tough. Like, again, another guy that I don't think is as good. At least he wasn't towards the end of the runs, but man, he's just a gritty guy. He'll be around. Bubba Wallace. Oh man, I had him to win the poll yesterday. Thought we had a chance. I know Brian pointed that out. Oh, I think he's going to be good. I actually have some Bubba. I have some Bubba at 23-1. I like it. I think that if you're going to play kind of a longer shot guy, I think he's the one. He was really, really good here last year. He was able to actually drive through the field, which for Bubba is not something he was able to do week in and week out. So if you look at last year after practice, it looked like he was the guy to beat. Then he screws up in qualifying. You kind of think his day is done. But he was able to battle back and get a decent finish. And he was able to pass cars. And I don't know, I'm not exactly sure where he finished. I think it was a top 10, but he was able to work his way back up to the field, which I think is really important at these tracks that are really hard to pass on. Daniel Suarez going to the rear. I can't remember. Hey, is Daniel Suarez going to a backup car? I just want to double check that. I think he is. I think that's what Bob tweeted. I think that Furman had said something to me about that. I know he's going to the rear. He's favored in a lot of matchups. Pretty heavy favorites. I don't know, man. You're switching to a backup car. So, Connor and Corey, he's going to a backup car. I do not bet on backup cars. You can't do it. I think that, these cars are so sensitive they can't do much from a they can't. You can I don't know, hope you can't hear that, but my buddy in the background there making some noise. Anyway, I don't know about Daniel Suarez. I would not be taking him in matchups. That's just me. I don't want to worry about that. Kyle Busch. I have no idea. If someone has an opinion on Kyle Busch, I would love to hear it because I just got no clue. I got no clue. What are people's thoughts on Kyle Busch today? Practice times? Nah. Am I on vacation? Yeah, Jacob, if you were here at the start of this thing, I'm actually about ready to go to the race. I'm at my buddy's place in Nashville here, so I just got a quick setup and gonna head out to the race and go sweat my balls off. I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen today. But Kyle Busch, when it came to practice, not that good. Like maybe a little bit of long run speed, but I don't know. No short run speed. I don't know that I like him in matchups. Maybe dabble Kyle Busch to win. What do we think about that? Like I was like 20-1. Maybe don't take him in matchups, but if all of a sudden he shows up, I mean, I think that's a good price on Kyle to win. I don't know. I haven't really heard many interviews. It's really tough to be here in Nashville. I mean, this town is just, oh my gosh. Like I thought Scottsdale went hard. Wrong. This place goes so hard. It is a joke. It's just been, like I said, this is beer number 700 right here. Yeah, you could lie bet Kyle. I like lie betting Kyle. I think that's a good call. I agree with that. If he looks fast, if he makes some passes, he likes his car. If you're listening to the radio and Kyle says his car is comfortable, he could be good. He hasn't been good when he doesn't unload well. Yeah. I don't know. I just think he could be good price to win. Like I'm not saying put a lot on him. I just think that 20-1, you're not going to get Kyle at 20-1 often. And he did kind of hang on in the long run. That's the one thing. Bubba, I much rather get Bubba 20-1 over KFB. Well, you can bet on both, Brian. That's the cool thing. But trust me, I have Bubba. I'm just trying to talk. I'm doing this. I'm trying to see. I don't like the top 10, Derek. Here's why. I just feel like you're not getting paid. Like that's a little bit of a gamble. Like if Kyle's running in the top 10, I don't know. You're paying a little bit too much there. I think minus 130 is a little too much because he could be trash. But I just I don't know. I have no feel. I mean, I was texting with Todd earlier today and trying to figure out a read on this 8, and I just don't have it. I have no read on him. I got none. How was Reddick here last year? He was all right, wasn't he? Wasn't great. Chris Buescher. RFK, man, I thought they'd unload a little better. I thought that both those guys being good on concrete, I thought they'd unload a little better. He's good. I would say he's probably a 12th to 13th place car. Unloaded pretty slow right away, made a few adjustments, got better on the short run, had a few decent laps later in practice, but nothing great. So I don't have a real feel for RFK today. I don't yeah, Brian, my bias talking right now. Maybe you could be right. Thanks for keeping me in check. That's why I do this. I don't know how I feel about Chris Buescher. Ryan Blaney, man, not good. Not good. He was not good recently. I mean, in practice, he was, pretty slow. Didn't even hang on in the long run. Like, actually, the adjustments they made later in practice, he actually got worse. So I think if he goes back to like his second run, he'd be a little bit better. But not he's just so juiced in matchups too. I don't think you can. I mean, if you can get a decent price against him, because I don't have all my screens right now. This is really, really hard. Okay, Chase, get over it, bud. It was daytime. He was fast in the sun. Chase, come on. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. Sunset at 8:30. Come on, Chase. I was there at like 11 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, Ryan Blaney, I don't like today. I think he's going to struggle. Chase Elliott's priced like he's fast. Am I missing something? Buescher was top 10 in 5:10 and 15 lap averages. I could see 5. Dude, he's just not even the same zip code as the other guys. Trust me on that. Those top 5, the Reddick, Truex, Chastain, Bubba, Byron, those guys are so much faster than the rest of the field. Like it's crazy. So I mean, if you want to take Buescher in something, if you find him in a matchup, he's probably a little bit better than Keselowski on the short run, but long run, who knows? Like we're going to get some long green flag runs, I think, or at least I hope. And I think that you could see the track change as it builds up rubber. You could see kind of comers and goers. I just think right now I have no feel on Buescher. I'm actually no good at understanding if Buescher's even good. Like he's a tough guy, I feel like, to read. So Blaney, we talked about, not that good. Chase Elliott, I know he won here last year, and he didn't have any slow laps, but listen, anytime you're like, he went for like a 10 lap run, goes in and pits, has a decent little run after that, straps on tires, runs 3 laps, straps on tires, runs, or then just runs 4 laps and 3 laps, like making a lot of adjustments. Whenever that happens, like a lot of adjustments late, they're looking for something. And I don't think that the 9 car is kind of where they want it. I think that they need the track to change a little bit I think the track conditions to kind of hit his setup, because I'd be fading Chase. I mean, I do have Byron over him, minus 122 that I took before practice and qualifying, but I don't know where that price is or if it's even available anymore. But I just think Chase is overpriced right now, or overvalued in my opinion. Alex Bowman, I mean, where is this guy just disappeared to? I mean, he's like all of a sudden just, I don't know, where'd Alex Bowman go? Like, it's almost like after this injury, just, I don't know. I don't trust Alex Bowman. I never know. But like, here's the other thing too. He could have a good car and like finish decent. Like I do have confidence in him. I just don't know where he's at. Like if he has a good car, I'm confident in him. But I'm just going to stay away. I think it's okay to not have an opinion about every single driver. And Alex Bowman is one of them. I don't have an opinion. Chris Buescher is another one I don't have an opinion. And Kyle Busch, another one I just don't have an opinion today. Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs wasn't bad. He was good on the short run. Obviously, lots of fall off. This is pretty standard. He didn't get to run the full race yesterday in the Xfinity Series. I think more track time would have helped him, but I don't know. I think Ty, if he could have a chance at the top 10, I think he'd be really happy with that. I do not think that the Toyotas are anywhere where they were nearly as close to as fast. I think that the Toyotas are not as fast as they were last year. Let's be honest. They're just not that fast at this track. Kevin Harvick. I mean, goodness gracious, Kevin. Like, why don't you just do the same thing every week? Why don't you look average in practice? Why don't you qualify average and then just race well? That's what I think is going to happen. The last run he did have a couple fast laps, fell off a little bit. I mean, I actually think in some of his matchups, he's cheaply priced because I just think that Kevin finds a way to get it done. I used to be the guy that faded Harvick after he was terrible in practice and qualifying. And now it's like, if he has a couple good laps, he'll figure it out. Todd brought up a good point earlier today. It was like, listen, if he has a couple fast laps, he'll figure out a way to make it work in the long run. And I think that's what will happen with Kevin Harvick. Chase Briscoe. Oh, man. This guy's slow. I don't think Chase is going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. Chase is not good. I think they're in trouble a little bit there. AJ Allmendinger. AJ was a little fast, man. I nibbled a little 250 to 1 there practice, thinking he'd do a little better. Big win yesterday for him. Happy. I love listening to that radio. I think that Allmendinger bitching and Chris Rice on there. I just think it's hilarious to listen to that. Oh, hey, Frankie. I love listening to Allmendinger's radio. But again, I think, this will be a good run for him. I think this is the best he's looked at an oval in a long time. So let's see. Where are we at? Brad Keselowski. Man, I thought he'd unload better. I mean, decent over the long run, but no short run speed and really inconsistent early in practice. I don't know if that was just because they were fighting grip, but I don't know. I was higher on Brad earlier in the week. I'm not anymore. I think that he'll just kind of ride around in 15th all day. Eric Almirola, I mean, kind of the same as Brad, maybe a little worse than Brad over the long run. Not interested in that. Chris Bell also trash. Like, what is Chris Bell doing? Like, get the piano off your back and start going faster. I think he'll get a decent finish because that's what he does. I don't know if this car, they just set it up for maybe a nighttime and just looking for a certain feeling, but speed was not there at all. Short or long run for Chris Bell. Eric Jones out of nowhere. Are you kidding me? How fast was this guy in practice? Like, I mean, he was super fast, and it looked kind of like Eric Jones. You'd expect him to look at like Darlington. Like he was really pretty good. I think he's undervalued. You can find him cheap in matchups. I think that you maybe nibble there. I just don't know if there's any out there. Austin Cindric was really bad. Weird. I mean, he had some fast laps. It's not like he was like Harrison Burton out there or something, but not very good. Definitely not someone you want to bet on. Ryan Preece, also not good. I mean, these guys are struggling. I mean, I think that even those last couple laps that were trying to run in practice that were a little faster, I think that was qualifying trim, and that was not good at all. Clearly, obviously, it didn't work out. Gillen, not good. Stenhouse. I feel like there's some Stenhouse matchups that might be decent. I'm not saying his first run was great in practice, but he was able to kind of, level out a little bit. He's good on concrete. He's running as good as he has, I think, in the Cup Series in a while. And I don't mind some Stenhouse. I don't know that I like him over Suarez. I know, there's a pretty juicy matchup there. I don't think I like that one. But JJ Yaley, Noah Gregson. I saw Noah last night. Good dude. Noah's a good dude. I liked him. But not fast. Not fast at all. Harrison Burton, not fast. Brennan Poole, not fast. Michael McDowell, what the hell were you doing in qualifying? That's a pretty brutal starting spot. And you actually taped up or whatever they can do for qualifying trim. Not excited about Michael McDowell. He's going to need some sort of strategy to get back in the game because he's down there with Ty Dillon, Josh Bilicki, and LaJoy, who spun out. So that's kind of the rundown. You guys have any questions? I think Gibbs 120 on Bowman. I mean, Stenhouse over Briscoe. Yes. Try not to move that price too much. I haven't gotten down on it yet. Okay. Can you do that for me? Yeah, Stuart Haas really struggling. Just struggling. I mean, it just goes to show you how good Kevin Harvick is. I mean, I think incredible out of that guy. I mean, Kevin Harvick is incredible. Any other questions about anything? Sorry, we got to kind of cut it quick. I got to get to the track. I'm trying to keep it together here in Nashville. Got one more day here. It has been a week. Feels like I've been here a year. Got here on Tuesday. So, hey, no other questions? Who's going to win on a long shot? Okay. Well, long shot, I still think you take Bubba. I think Brian and I have kind of seen eye to eye the last few weeks. I would say that I like Bubba. I think Bubba's a good kind of 18 to 20 to 1 guy. The best bet to win, I think, is William Byron at that 7 to 1 price. But I think Martin Truex wins. My favorite top 5 would probably be, I mean, if you get Truex, is he like plus 120 or something? I don't really bet top 3s that much. I'm more of a top 5 guy just because late race restart, I don't want to have to deal with someone trying to get like in the correct lane. I don't really have a top 3, but I would say top 5. I mean, I think Willie B and Truex are going to be up there all day long. I mean, and so is Chastain. I just think that his price he's a little overvalued. Byron's 8 to 1 at MGM. That's a good price. I like that price. I mean, I can't bet there, but MGM joke. All right. Well, hey boys and girls. Thanks for tuning in. And hey, happy race day. Collective Clink. Taking a pull. We'll see you guys later.